one of the Wedge Crew, a prolific spot in California surfing history. The Wedge, it has some of the most biggest, powerful waves in the summer, and guys like Tom go down there and ride them and take a beating. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Thank you.
You know, the Wedge, it really has a lot of history to it. It seems like it's one of those places that everyone recognizes the name. You know, when the swells come in the summer, the Wedge is on. People, you know, they go down and spectate. What does it mean to guys like yourself to be there, and are there a lot of those traditional guys still out there with you?
Well, guys started riding the Wedge back in, I believe, 1950, the early 50s, and of course I imagine a lot of people watched it for a long time and said, what is this thing? Finally the guys started to ride it, and the guys there are a selected few that are still doing it today, older guys like Fred Simpson and Ron Romanowski, who are just as good as they ever have been.
You know, as I said, the Wedge is a place that has these big, powerful waves. It has an element of danger. Are there a lot of people that come down there and think they can handle it when, you know, really they're not accomplished enough to be out there?
Oh, sure, there is. There's a selected few guys that do it a lot. When the waves are up, you cannot slide into the Wedge thinking that you can conquer it or go in with any attitude like that. You have to be in good shape, and the guys that just come out and do it every day are the guys that are in good shape. And if you don't do it every day, you shouldn't come out when the waves are at 10, 15 feet and try to ride your biggest wave ever. It's not the way to do it.
You know, speaking of good shape, Wedge is primarily a summer break. You know, when the south swells come, the rebounds off the jetty there. What do you guys do in the winter time to stay in shape, you know, so that you can be down there in the summer and tackle those big ones?
Well, we ride South Bay a lot. Guys like Mel Thoman and Greg Dietz and myself, we come up here and we ride the South Bay El Porto, the jetty up there. It's important to stay in good shape in the wintertime so you're able to do the things you want to do in the springtime when it hits. A lot of times when the waves are good, we'll venture down to Black's, Boomers Beach, try to get into some waves down in that area.
For Tom Kennedy, what's a perfect day at the Wedge? I mean, when is it at its best size, and what's the perfect ride?
Well, a lot of girls on the beach.
Bit of scenery.
And I like a big wave, of course, and sometimes...
What's big for Tom?
I don't know. It's just when it's big, you know. Sometimes it's hard to tell how big it really is, but you know, there comes a time when the Wedge becomes too big, and what we call is freight trains. And when it's that big, pretty much a guy by the name of Terry Wade owns that, as a lot of people know. But I like a good-shaped wave, and of course the big tube at the end with, you know, all your friends looking in, smiling at you is also quite exciting.
You guys are kind of a masochistic bunch, though. I mean, most of the times you see, you drop in and you pull up in the tube there, and all of a sudden it all ends with you getting rolled up on the sand.
Well, ironically, you know, the guys that try to pull out of those waves are the guys that are going to take the big beating because they get sucked right over the falls. If you hang in the tube, it's the easy way out, believe it or not, and a lot of times after the wave is closed out and we make our entrance out of there and our exit out of there.
You know, as far as technique goes, how important are the swim fins? I mean, it seems to me to hold yourself into the face of a wave that's that steep at the Wedge, they must be pretty important.
Yeah, well, myself, I prefer Viper fins, and they have the strict blades on the side. And if your feet fall out, you're going to tumble right out of the wave. So it's very important to keep your feet in the wave.
Do a lot of the Wedge guys go to the North Shore of Hawaii to try and tackle places like Pipeline, which is also a really well-known place for body surfing?
I was over there back in '84. And I never really caught it good, but a lot of guys do like to go ride Pipeline because it's such a fantastic wave.
You know, and for body surfing, every year now there's the World Body Surfing Championship that's held in Oceanside. Is that kind of the pinnacle for the sport, or is body surfing more not so much a competitive thing, or just a camaraderie, you know, go out and ride a wave and hoot and holler for your buddy?
The contest itself is more designed, I think of it as, is kind of a thing to be around other body surfers. It's very unique to find somebody that body surfs or takes body surfing as serious as we do. And it's neat to be around a bunch of guys that just simply body surf. And that's what I think the contest does. And it's a neat, they have a neat get together afterwards. And, you know, if you do well in it, great. If not, you're still around a bunch of body surfing guys that's what they're interested in.
It's like a fraternity. I mean, you have to be accepted to the crew, and you have to go out there and take your lumps.
Well, it's not as established as it used to be, but there are a bunch of guys that, like I said, do it a lot. And when you do something a lot, you become friendly with the guys, and you know, you eventually make your way into it. And there's just a bunch of guys. It's a very close, tight-knit group. We do a lot of things besides just body surfing together. You know, like I said, we'll travel up north.
I'm sure there's some great parties.
Say the least. It's a lot of fun.
All right, well, thanks for coming on the show, Tom. That's been another episode of Wave Watch. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back real soon.